Love Saga. The sound of clanking bicycles and chatter filled the dusty streets of User Village as Amora strode purposefully toward Jaden's Events, the most prestigious wedding planning firm in the nearby city of Okwe. Amora, a spirited and determined woman in her early 30s, wore a simple Ankara dress, her sandals worn from years of careful use. Her confidence, however, was unshakable. Jaden, a meticulous wedding planner known for his elite clientele, barely glanced up when his assistant Patricia hesitantly knocked on his office door. "Sir," Patricia said, her tone uneasy. "Your 9 a.m. appointment is here, but..." "But what?" Jaden responded, not bothering to look up from his laptop. "She doesn't look like our typical client," Patricia finished, her cheeks flushed. "Send her in," Jaden said, sighing. "Let me handle it." Moments later, Amora entered. Her energy was electric, her wide smile contrasting with the skepticism etched on Jaden's face. "Good morning." Amora began enthusiastically, shaking his hand firmly. "I've heard so much about you." "Good morning," Jaden replied, masking his doubts. "You're here to plan a wedding." "Not just any wedding," Amora said, leaning forward. "I want the biggest wedding this town has ever seen. I'm talking about something so grand that it will silence every gossip and doubter in User Village." Jaden raised an eyebrow. "What's your budget?" 20 million naira to start, Amora said casually, flipping her braids over her shoulder. Jaden's pen froze midair. 20 million. "Yes," Amora said with a playful grin. "Or more, if it's necessary. I want every guest to leave saying, 'Wow.' Can you do it?" Jaden straightened in his chair. "You've come to the right place." Later that evening, Jaden sat across from his mother, Beauty, in their family home in Okwe. Beauty, a proud woman with an imposing presence, sipped her tea while scrutinizing her son's latest client. "You're telling me this village girl wants a wedding worth 20 million? Beauty scoffed. "Jaden, don't waste your time." "She can afford it, Mom," Jaden said, weary of this familiar conversation. "She paid the deposit today." Beauty raised a skeptical eyebrow. "Money doesn't erase where someone comes from. You see. These people from places like User Village always cause trouble." Jaden sighed. "It's just business, Mom. Can we leave it at that?" Beauty wasn't convinced. She had long meddled in Jaden's life, her sharp tongue often steering him away from relationships she deemed beneath their family. Meanwhile, in User Village, Amora's fiancé, Williams, returned from a business trip in Lagos. A tall, charismatic man with a booming laugh, Williams was every bit the town's golden boy. Yet he carried an unease about the wedding. "Amora," Williams said that night as they sat under the stars, "are you sure about all this? The planners, the extravagance." Amora looked at him, fire in her eyes. "This isn't just about us, Williams. It's about proving to everyone that I'm more than what they see." Williams smiled, though the weight of his mother's disapproval loomed large in his mind. "As long as you're happy, I'll support you." At Jaden's Events, preparations were underway for Amora's wedding. Jaden decided to bring in a specialist, Chika, a top-notch decorator with a knack for creating unforgettable atmospheres. Chika arrived with her usual flair, her head held high and her tools ready. But when her eyes met Jaden's, the air thickened. They had history, one that neither had fully resolved. "Jaden," Chika said coolly, "long time." "Chika," Jaden replied, equally composed. "Thanks for coming." As the team worked on initial designs, Amora entered, immediately connecting with Chika. "I've heard so much about you," Amora exclaimed. "Your work is stunning." Chika smiled warmly. "Thank you. I'll make sure your wedding is perfect." What Amora didn't know was that Chika was Jaden's ex-wife, a fact that would soon disrupt everything. Beauty's suspicions grew as the wedding plans progressed. She couldn't resist meddling, calling on Chika one evening under the guise of offering help. "You're doing a great job," Beauty began, her tone syrupy. "But tell me, don't you think this Amora girl is too ambitious?" Chika frowned. "Ambition isn't a bad thing. Beauty's mask slipped. You should be careful, Chika. People from places like Yuza can't be trusted. Chika's eyes narrowed. I'm just here to do my job, Mrs. Benson. Beauty smirked. Let's hope that's all. While working late one evening, Amora overheard a heated argument between Jaden and Chika. You should have told her. Chika hissed. And ruin everything. No way, Jaden retorted. Amora froze. Told me what? She demanded, stepping into the room. Jaden and Chika exchanged uneasy glances before Jaden admitted, Chika and I were married. Briefly. Amora's heart sank. You've been lying to me this whole time. I didn't think it mattered, Jaden said weakly. Amora stormed out, her mind racing. Could she trust anyone? Days later, the situation escalated when Amora discovered Chika had a son, Brian, a boy with striking resemblance to Jaden. Is he? Amora couldn't finish her sentence. Chika nodded reluctantly. He's Jaden's son. Amora felt the weight of her word collapse. The man she trusted to make her dream wedding a reality had entangled her in his unresolved past. Chika sat alone in her small office that evening, staring at the blueprints for Amora's wedding venue. Her phone buzzed incessantly with texts from Jaden, but she ignored them. Instead, she focused on her work, pushing aside the chaos swirling in her mind. Amora's voice echoed in her head, You lied to me. I trusted you. Her son, Brian, walked into the room holding a sketchbook. Mama, I drew something for you, he said, handing her a picture of a family, two parents holding hands with a boy in between. Chika's heart clenched. She kissed Brian on the forehead. Thank you, my love. This is beautiful. That night, she decided she would no longer let Jaden or Beauty dictate the narrative. She resolved to focus on her job, protect her son, and avoid any further entanglements. Amora sat on her veranda, staring at the moonlit trees of Yuza village. Williams joined her, handing her a cup of tea. You've been quiet, he said softly. Do you think I'm chasing too much? She asked, her voice fragile. Williams looked at her, surprised. Why would you say that? Everything feels messy, Amora confessed. The wedding, the planner, even us. I wanted this to be about love and proving to myself that I deserve everything I dream of. But now? Williams held her hand. Dreams are never easy, Amora. But don't let fear stop you. You're worth it. We are worth it. Amora smiled faintly, but uncertainty lingered in her heart. Beauty visited Jaden at his office the next day, her face set with determination. I've given this enough thought, she announced. You need to replace Chika. That woman is a distraction. Jaden sighed heavily. Mom, this is business. Chika is the best at what she does. And yet, she's also the mother of your child, Beauty snapped. Do you want your past mistakes ruining this wedding? It's not about my mistakes, Jaden said firmly. It's about giving Brian what I didn't have, a chance to know his father. Beauty scoffed. That boy is not a Benson. Don't forget that. Jaden stood, his jaw tightening. He's my son, Mom. And I'm not going to let you dictate this. For the first time, Beauty faltered. She left without another word. At a family meeting in Yuza, Williams learned about Chika's connection to Jaden through a loose-lipped cousin. Did you know your fiancé's planner is Jaden's ex-wife? The cousin asked with a smirk. What? Williams asked, stunned. Are you serious? The cousin nodded, clearly enjoying the drama. Oh, and she has his child too. Williams left the meeting in a daze. That night, he confronted Amora. Why didn't you tell me? He demanded. I only just found out, Amora replied, her voice trembling. I was going to tell you, I swear. Williams paced the room. Amora, this wedding is turning into a circus. I need time to think. Amora watched helplessly as Williams stormed out. Beauty made an unannounced visit to Chika's modest home in Okwi. Chika opened the door, startled. Mrs. Benson, Chika said cautiously. What brings you here? Beauty stepped inside without invitation. I came to talk. Chika crossed her arms. If this is about the wedding. It's about my grandson, Beauty interrupted, her tone sharp. You had no right to keep him from us. Chika's eyes flashed with anger. You humiliated me, insulted my family, and made me feel like that. I had every right. Beauty hesitated, her defenses cracking. I only wanted the best for my son. And yet you made me feel like I was the worst, Chika replied, her voice steady. You don't get to rewrite history, Mrs. Benson. Beauty left without another word, her mind swelling with guilt. Jaden arrived at Chika's office late at night. She was packing up for the day when he walked in, his face etched with determination. We need to talk, he said. There's nothing left to say, Chika replied, not looking at him. Yes, there is, Jaden insisted. Brian deserves to know his father. And I want to make things right. Chika turned to face him, her eyes blazing. You had 11 years to make things right, Jaden. Where were you when I needed you? When Brian needed you? Jaden's voice softened. I was a coward. But I'm here now. Chika shook her head. It's too late. Jaden reached out, but Chika stepped back. Don't, she said. Just leave. After days of silence, Williams returned to Amara's side. He found her sitting by the village stream, her feet dangling in the water. I overreacted, Williams admitted, sitting beside her. I let my fears get the best of me. Amara smiled faintly. So did I. They sat in silence for a moment, the sound of the stream calming their racing thoughts. Let's get married, Williams said suddenly. No more doubts. No more drama. Amara laughed softly. I thought you'd never ask. The morning of the wedding arrived with a flurry of activity. Chika's team worked tirelessly to transform the village square into a magical setting. Despite the tensions, everyone came together to make the day perfect. Amara stood in her bridal suite, gazing at her reflection. Her dress, a masterpiece of lace and pearls, shimmered in the sunlight. You look stunning, Williams said as he entered the room. Amara turned to him, tears in her eyes. Thank you for believing in me. They shared a quiet moment before heading to the altar, where their love story would finally take center stage. During the reception, Jaden approached Chika, holding out his hand. May I have this dance? Chika hesitated, then nodded. As they swayed to the music, Jaden whispered, I'm sorry for everything. Chika smiled faintly. I know. From across the room, Beauty watched, her expression unreadable. Brian tugged at her sleeves. Grandma, come dance with me. For the first time in years, Beauty smiled. Let's dance. As the reception reached its peak, the DJ's voice boomed across the venue. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest who wants to say a few words. The crowd turned as Brian, holding a small microphone, stepped onto the stage. His bright eyes sparkled with excitement as he cleared his throat. Hi, everyone, Brian began, his voice wavering slightly. My name is Brian, and I just wanted to say thank you to my dad for bringing me here. The crowd murmured, their curiosity piqued. Beauty, seated near the stage, stiffened. Chika's heart raced as she stood at the back of the crowd. I'm so happy to be here and to meet my family, Brian continued, looking at Jaden. And I hope we can all be together more. Jaden's eyes filled with tears as he walked onto the stage and embraced his son. The crowd erupted in applause, though Beauty's applause was slow, her face unreadable. Later that evening, Beauty found herself alone at one of the tables, nursing a glass of wine. She watched Jaden and Brian laughing together and felt a pang of something unfamiliar, regret. Chika approached cautiously. Mrs. Benson, may I sit? Beauty gestured for her to sit down, though her expression remained guarded. You've done a wonderful job today, Beauty admitted reluctantly. Chika nodded. Thank you. Beauty hesitated before speaking again. I may not have shown it, but I want what's best for Jaden. I always have. And Brian? Chika asked, her tone firm. Beauty sighed. His family. I can't change that. For the first time, they shared a moment of mutual understanding. Under the soft glow of string lights, Amora and Williams shared a quiet moment away from the crowd. The sounds of laughter and music filled the air, but they were focused solely on each other. Do you think we made it? Amora asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Williams smiled, taking her hands in his. We didn't just make it, Amora. We thrived. Amora leaned her head against his chest, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. Thank you for standing by me. I'll always stand by you, Williams promised. As the festivities wound down, Jaden approached Chika, who was supervising the cleanup crew. Chika, he began, his voice tentative. She turned to him, her face calm but unreadable. Yes. I just wanted to say thank you. For everything. For Brian. For today. Chika nodded, her expression softening. You're welcome. There was a long pause before Jaden spoke again. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I hope someday. Chika interrupted him gently. Jaden, I forgave you a long time ago. For Brian's sake and for mine. Jaden smiled, a weight lifting off his shoulders. Take care of him. And yourself. You too, Chika replied, watching as he walked away. 2 weeks after the wedding, Amora and Williams returned to User Village to settle into their new home. The villagers, once skeptical of Amora's ambitions, now greeted her with respect and admiration. At the same time, Chika packed up her office in Okwe. She had received an offer from an international wedding planning firm in Lagos and decided it was time for a fresh start. Before leaving, she took Brian to User Village to say goodbye to Jaden. The father and son shared a heartfelt moment, promising to stay in touch. In the quiet of her home, Beauty reflected on the events of the past months. For the first time, she allowed herself to see her actions through the eyes of others. She picked up her phone and dialed Chika's number. Hello. Chika's voice was cautious. It's me, Beauty said. I just wanted to say, thank you. For Brian. And for being patient with me. Chika's silence spoke volumes. When she finally replied, her voice was kind. You're welcome, Mrs. Benson. Months later, Amora launched a small initiative in User Village to empower young women. She used her wedding as an example of what could be achieved with determination and support. Her story inspired others to dream bigger, turning her into a local icon. William stood proudly by her side, supporting her every step of the way. Jaden continued his work as a wedding planner, but with a renewed sense of purpose. He became more involved in Brian's life, visiting him in Canada regularly and building a bond that neither of them had thought possible. A year later, Amora and Williams hosted a celebration for their first anniversary. Guests from User Village and beyond gathered to celebrate their love. Under the same string lights where they had first reaffirmed their commitment, they danced, surrounded by friends, family, and the undeniable proof that love could conquer all.
I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, comment, share it with your family and friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.